Hare Krishna. Maudyantamirangasya Gyananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave. Hare Krishna. Yesterday there was some problem with power supply, so we have to stop in between. I was not able to connect back. So we will continue our discussions. So here Lord Kapila is telling, perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for there is only auspicious middle. So, na yunjamanaya bhaktya bhagavat akhilatmani sadrisho sti shiva panta yoginam brahma siddhaye. So that means we can attain perfection only through bhakti, the element of bhakti that we have discussed. Now we'll see what Prabhupada has to add to it. That knowledge and renunciation are never perfect unless joined by devotional service by explicitly explained here. Na yunja manaya means without being doubted. When there is devotional service, then the question is where to offer the service. So devotional service is to be offered to the personality of Godhead and who is super soul of everything. And for that is the only reliable path of self-realization or Brahman realization. The Prabhupada is making it very clear that we need to do it in this particular way only. There is no other option. The word Brahma Siddhaye means to understand oneself to be different from matter and to understand oneself to be Brahman. The word Brahma Siddhaya means to understand, and the Vedic words are Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma Siddhaya means that one should know that is not matter, is pure soul. There are different kinds of yogis, but every yogi is supposed to engage in self realization or Brahman realization. It is clearly stated here that unless one is fully engaged in devotional service of the personality of Godhead, one cannot have easy approach to the path of Brahma Siddhaya. And in this per person, Prabhupada wrote very big because Prabhupada wanted to also explain very fundamental concepts and make it very clear for us through his purports here. He has stayed all the night to write all these things. So we should value them and we should try to see what Prabhupada has to share here. Bhagavatam, it is stated that when one engages himself in devotional service to Vasudeva, spiritual knowledge and renunciation of material world automatically become manifest. Thus, a devotee does not have to try separately for renunciation or knowledge. This is always very important for us. We need not separately cultivate renunciation and knowledge. It is a byproduct only. Devotional service itself is so powerful that by one service attitude, everything is revealed. That's all. No need of separately. What is needed is service attitude. That's all. How much we are ready to serve. We should invite devotees to our house for prasadam. We should go to temple and do service. Whatever we are earning, we should give part of it as a service. Otherwise, part of it, okay, you don't want to give donation to temple, then feed Vaishnavas. Call them to home, cook prasadam for them, and give them. So in that way, you engage your money in the service only. No sense gratification. You want to eat nicely, then cook prasadam for devotees, invite them, feed them, and whatever remains you eat. That is how we should engage ourselves. This is will help us to become free from envy. Then we can understand Bhagavatam, today's appearance of Bhagavatam. We can understand Bhagavatam when we are free from envy, and that is possible only with service attitude. It is stated here, Shiva Panta, this is the only auspicious path for self realization. That's all. The path of devotional service is most confidential means for attaining Brahman realization. That perfection in Brahman realization is attained through the auspicious path of devotional service indicates that the so-called Brahman realization or self-realization and Brahmajyoti effulgence is not Brahma Siddhi. Beyond Brahmajyoti, there is Supreme Personality of God. In the Upanishads, A devotee prays to the Lord to kindly put aside the effulgence. Brahmajyoti. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukam. That's what actually Ishopanishad says. So the devotee may see within the Brahmajyoti the actual eternal form of Lord, unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of Lord, there is no question of bhakti. That means one has to attain realization of transcendent. That means they need to understand that there is a person Krishna, and then a person, then relationship. So bhakti is relationships. That means you need to have a person to relate, right? Bhakti necessitates the existence of recipient of devotional service and devotee who renders devotional service. Brahma Siddhi through devotional service is the realization of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is speaking on this word again and again and again. So many times he's explained that what is real Brahma Siddhi. That's what actually Prabhupada is interested us to understand. What is real Brahma Siddhi? That means the relationship with the Supreme Lord. Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshta. You want to remove that conception. This is the greatest threat for us, the impersonal understanding. The understanding of the effulgent rays of the body of Supreme Godhead is not the perfect stage of Brahma Siddhi. Brahman realization, nor is the realization of Paramatma feature the Supreme Perfect Person of for Bhagavan, the Supreme Personal Level. He is Akhilatma, he is the Super Soul. One who realizes Supreme Personality of what realizes the other features, namely Paramatma feature and the total realization of Brahma Siddhi. This is how we understand. And there is a question. Today there is no fasting till noon. It was we can fast. We will get benefited. Spiritual credits anyway will come. If you feel for today's Bhagavad appearance, let me fast. So we will get benefited. That is no doubt. But the whatever acharyas have given, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur actually made, which are the fasting days we should have. Those are the days we generally fast. Extra days is okay, but that are the compulsory days. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance happened 2 days before we fasted, and whatever up before that Vaman Dwadashis we fasted for half day on Ekadasi. Like that, some particular days are there where acharyas have specified that we have to fast on that days. That is sufficient for progress in the path of spiritual life. Separately, it's okay, but we should not do much also. That is not our path. And Kapila says every learned man knows very well that attachment for material is greatest entanglement of spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, one opens the doors of liberation. Prasanga majaram pasham atmane kavayo vidhu Sayeva sadhashikuto mokshadavara pavritam. This is a very famous shloka of Bhagavatam. And here it is clearly stated that attachment for one thing is the cause of bondage and conditional life. Same attachment, when applied to something else, opens the doors of liberation. So for us, now this is a very easy formula. Attachment cannot be killed, but this is actually what the Mayavadis try to do. It simply to be transferred. Attachment for material things is called material consciousness, and attachment for Krishna or his devotee is called Krishna consciousness. So we are having the ability, we are having that conditioning to be attached, and we are doing it for devotees. This is a very important, greatest secret for our success. How much I am attached to Vaishnavas, how much I am attached to the service of Vaishnava. Attachment means basically I want to serve them. Therefore is the platform of attachment. Consciousness, therefore, is a platform of attachment. You see, it's a platform of attachment only, but it is in a spiritual attachment. It is clearly stated here. that when we simply purify the consciousness from material consciousness to Krishna consciousness, we attain liberation. Despite the statement that one should give up attachment, desirelessness is not possible for a living entity. A living entity, by constitution, has the propensity to be attached to something. We see that if someone has no object of attachment, if he has no children, then he transfers his attachment to cats and dogs. This indicates that the propensity for attachment cannot be stopped. It may be utilized for best purpose. Our attachment for material perpetuates things perpetuates our conditional state, perpetuates our condition. But the same attachment, when transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, is a source of liberation. Point is very simple. We cannot. It is an artificial to be no attachment. No attachment is artificial. That's why better to have attachment and to have attachment in the spiritual area instead of going for material thing. That means that's why grahasthas they are recommended for deities at home. They start becoming attached. Anything we give, we get attached. We stay with them. Even we are attached to our suffering. Interestingly, like sometimes people are wife and husband. They don't. They fight every day, but still they are attached to each other. Say, "Arey, what is this? Why you are a person after some time, he's used to it. He want that type of suffering only in that way. You cannot understand why this person is still living in this situation because he's attached. This is many of them they come and they give the situations and they say, no, you just have to tell you, in the situation, you just have to tell, no, I don't want it. But they cannot do it only. Go and live with your son. No? You are so much tired with your wife or husband. Your son is there. You can stay with him. He will nicely take care, and he's calling also. But they don't want to go. They're attached to it. Anyway, I don't want to take different, but basically this is the point. We need to know, and this is Bhagavatam says it comes also in some place in the future. Lord Kapila only says here it is recommended that attachment should be transferred to self-realized devotees, the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? A sadhu is not just an ordinary man with a saffron robes or long beard. A sadhu is described in Bhagavad Gita as one who is who unflinchingly engages in devotional service. Even though one is found not to be following the rules strictly and regulations of devotional, if one simply has unflinching faith in Krishna, the Supreme Personality, he is understood to be sadhu. That it is not who is very strict in following rules and regulations, but what is important for him, one who has simply unflinching faith in Krishna, the Supreme Person, he is understood to be sadhu. Sadhureva samantabhya. Sadhu is a strict follow of devotionals. It is recommended here that if one, that means he is not interested in this varnashram rules and regulations. He is interested in Krishna. Sandhyavandanam Bhadramastu. When Madhavendra Prabhu says, oh, this Sandhyavandanam 3 times of chanting the Gayatri, I cannot do it. He is not interested in Gayatri. He is just a whole day chant Hare Krishna, that's all. It is recommended here that if one at all wants to realize Brahmana's spiritual perfection, his attachment should be transferred to sadhu or devotee. Lord Chaitanya also confirmed this. Lavamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. Simply a moment association of sadhu. This is a very greatest boon for all of us. How much strongly I am attached to a sadhu. Mahatma is a symptom of sadhu. It is said that service to Mahatma or elevated devotee of Lord is Dhyaram Ahur Dwaram Ahur Vimuktai, the royal road for liberation. Mat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukte Stamo Dwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. This is Rishabdev is teaching. Now, rendering service to materialist has opposite effect. And whoever is working in this world, they have this problem. They have to serve somebody, and they're all materialistic people. That is the reason if we are working outside and making money, we have to make sure that we have to, that means is an opposite. We have to make sure that we are serving Vaishnavas. We have to get that money, engage in the service of Vaishnavas. That is the only way we can come out. There is no other way. If we are serving materialistic person and making money, we are going in wrong direction. That money, if we need for our maintaining family, so much time we should give in serving Vaishnavas also. If anyone offers service to a gross materialistic or person engaged only in sense enjoyment, then by association with such a person, the door to hell is open. This is the danger we all have. We are working, the door to hell is open because we are serving the senses of this materialistic fellow. He may be sitting in America and eating cow. All the software jobs, the owners are in America. And what are they doing? They are killing cows and eating. That then now the person whom we are serving is a cow eater in that way. We are satisfying his senses. He is paying, but ultimately we have to serve that person. Now, what to do in such case? Yes, serve Vaishnavas. The same principle is confirmed. Attachment to a devotee is attachment to the service of the Lord, because if one associates with sadhu, the result will be that sadhu will teach him how to become a devotee, a worshipper, and sincere servitor of the Lord. These are the gifts of a sadhu. If we want to associate with sadhu, we cannot expect him to give us instructions on how to improve our material conditions. That's the reason people go to sadhu. They want him to help them in improving. But he will give us instructions on how to cut the knots of contamination of material attraction and how to elevate ourselves in devotional service. This is a result of association with a sadhu. Kapilamani first of all instructs that the path of revelation begins with such association. So the first instruction is giving in one way to his mother is you be attached to the sadhus. That's what he is trying to tell her. And he says, Titikshava karunika suhudha sarvadehina jata shatravaha santaha sadavaha sadhu bhushana. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country from door to door preaching, be Krishna conscious, be a devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensity. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. There is preaching of sadhu. There is preaching. He is not satisfied by his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls. One of his qualifications, therefore, is Karunika, great mercy to the fallen soul. So now Prabhupada is explaining all the one qualities of what Karunika is merciful. While engaging in spiritual work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhu or devotee of Lord has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive transcendental knowledge. This is for all of us. We have to get opposition. Actually, that will help us to know how much strength we have. The more the opposition, more we can test how much I am with Krishna consciousness. They do not like it, and that is their desire. The sadhu has to has the taskless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotion. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Prabhupada gives example of Jesus Christ, Nityanand Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, and Jagai Mother. He says that one of the qualification of a sadhu is that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all fallen souls. He is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all living entities. He is not only well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. Sarva Dehina. And Prabhupada is living by it, so that's why he's writing such a big. And then he gives the example of Shivanand Sen delivering a dog. These are the philanthropic activities. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? The difference is it is a difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditioned souls for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned souls. So this is very important. If somebody has friend, and for him the greatest friendship is if he is having a sadhu as a friend. A sadhu is calm. He is quietly and peacefully follows the principles of scripture. The sadhu means one who follows the principles of scriptures and at the same time is a devotee of Lord. One who actually follows the principles of scriptures must be a devotee of Lord because all the Shastras instruct us to obey the order of personality of Godhead. This is how the logic of Prabhupada. That means if you are sadhu means you follow what Lord wants. That's all. All the characteristics are prominent in a devotee. A devotee develops all the good qualities of demigods, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, has no actual good qualifications or good characters according to standards of transcendence. Now we may see, this is a very important, that we see that outside people, they have very good qualities also. But they are not actual good qualities. Why? Why not actual good qualities? This is a very important question to understand. What happens is their understanding, because that is on a moral level only. Their standing is at a moral level. They cannot think about the soul. They think at the level of mind and body. That means they don't do real welfare to the soul. That's why it is, even though they have qualities, it is all temporary. See, how does this quality manifest for them is because that is also false ego only. So this qualities are because of, this is because of false ego. But for devotees, the qualities that are manifest based on real ego, that is a major difference. The difference for materialistic people's qualities and that are devotees is, for devotees the qualities are really. Really. How? Because now if I am showing compassion to anyone, what is my compassion based on devotees? We see that this person is in relation to Krishna. So I want to bring him back to Krishna. That's how I will show compassion. We are giving food, but we don't give food. What we give prasadam. Right? We want to, even we want to help them some materially also. Why we do it? Because he will appreciate a devotee and that will help him become closer to Krishna. That's why we give. Say, sometimes we may give some money to a beggar. We are helping him so that he will appreciate a devotee. He sees Tilak is there, Kantimala is there. He thinks, oh, this Krishna people are good. So that appreciation will help him to progress. That's why we show compassion. So our compassion is in relation to Krishna. But whereas materialistic people, so their compassion is not based on connection to Krishna. They will only see that this person's body is suffering, this person's mind is suffering. They want to help the body and mind. They are not seeing the soul or relation of the soul. They may accept him soul, but they don't see the relation of the soul with the person. And even that is, the compassion is false compassion. because you are trying to save the coat of a drowning man. That fellow is anyway drowning. They may sacrifice so much. We are not telling, we are not minimizing what they are doing, but we are telling that is not the real one. Like I have seen people who are working with blind, in Pune, I was there. One person, he supports one blind orphanage. Or means all the people, the children, they come and stay there only. They are orphans and blind also, and he is so happy doing it. And they all come on his birthday, and I also happened to go to that house. And it means it's a big house, big garden and other things. We wanted to give Bhagavatam, that's why we went, and that's the time he's celebrating his birthday, and all these blind children are coming offering to him. How did you save our life? This, that. But it is good activity. No, there are so many people who are doing like that. All these philanthropist activities, they work very hard, very hard. Point is, but they cannot, they don't know the soul. That's why these people, no, like I also go here. Here we have a Chavadi, there is an orphanage, and they have annual meeting, and other children who passed out and they are doing good jobs and all, they come and they give that how we are protected here and how this. Now this, they are getting some nice benefits and all, and these people are doing some philanthropic. Problem is what? They continue to remain materialistic. That is the problem. And what happens is after some time they cannot manifest that qualities. The qualities will go away because there is no connection with Krishna. I used to stay at one house at a rented place in our college. I was studying that time. The owner was so pious. I never saw wife and husband fighting because just a door was separating. I can hear everything that happens in the room. I have three children, and he was taking care of his mother-in-law, and his brother-in-law also. Brother-in-law is a little mental retarded. So such a big family. Everybody stay, no fighting. Morning, evening, he used to do all the rituals and everything so nicely. What happened is, and the wife has three sisters and one brother who's mental retarded. Everybody, and his mother-in-law is blinded mother-in-law, mental retarded brother, mother-in-law and brother-in-law, and then his own mother. Everybody was staying. He was nicely doing puja, this, that. Very, very nice person. But what happened is he went into financial crisis, and then this blind mother-in-law had some property, which is legally supposed to go to all the four daughters. But he went and he made everything on his name without informing to other daughters. And because he is in crisis, he need money. He took all the property and he sold it and cleared some things. Now the point is that I was thinking, such a nice person, why did he change? Because he went into crisis. All the good qualities that were there, they were to some extent only. After that, they could not be manifested. They are lost because they are not on the real ego, they are on the false ego. So all the good qualities people manifest outside, they cannot remain after some time, not possible. They may go to some extent and they may go till heaven also. But anyway, that is, but one thing you remember, that is based on false ego, this is real ego. I'll not take much detail. You have to go for further shlokas. But if you want to know this, this is, you can meditate on it. You will understand more clearly why it is false ego, why this is real ego. We meditate on this one point, you will understand. So we will go for next shloka. Hope it is clear. If anybody has questions on this topic, real ego, false ego, compassion, clear? I'm not telling more details. मयनन्यभावेन भक्तिं कुर्वन्ति ये दृढां मत्कृते त्यक्तकर्माणां त्यक्त्वा सजनबान्धवा. Such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such a family relationship and friendship acquaintance within this world. Such a nice shloka. Lord Kapila is telling. So, previous shloka, there Prabhupada is telling these qualities. When we see outside people very compassionate and devotees are very harsh, rude, and they are very sometimes jealous and they are doing conspiracies and all. Still, we may keep distance from such devotees, but we should know that they are better situated than these people who are very compassionate, who are generous, who are following very dharmic, but they are not devotees. So this devotee is better situated than them also. Even though we may not like this devotee so much, he has done some conspiracy, he did some cheating and did some gotala in the temple and ran away with so much money, he cheated so many devotees. Still, if he has Shraddha, he is better situated than the materialistic person. That should be very clear for us. We should not have doubt in that direction. Devotee is always better situated, even though he is mischievous. Why? Because Krishna takes care of him. He will help him to come out of it very soon, and he will be better situated. We might have been the same person in our previous lives, and now Krishna changed us, and at least we are trying to do something. We are little, not so much bad, some bad. So Krishna is taking care, and we will improve. Like that, it happens for everyone, but they are better situated because directly Krishna is there. That is the most important point we should remember. And here also, one more important thing. What he is telling, renounce all other connections for the sake of Lord. Tejanti bandava sarve nindanti guruvasana govinda mama jivanam. So, let all the relatives, friends reject me. For me only Govinda. Such as family relation, friends, acquaintance. So he is ready to renounce. And Prabhupada says the person in renounce of life, a sannyas, is called a sadhu because he renounced everything. His home, his comfort, his relatives, his duties to families and friends. Very nice situation actually in one way. When you renounce, you feel quite safe in terms of mm, uh, it's not that irresponsibility. It's a freedom actually. This one level of freedom. He renounced everything for the sake of personality of God. A sannyasi is generally renounced of life, but his renunciation will be successful only when his energy is employed in the service of the Lord with great austerities. It is said here, therefore, bhaktim kurvanti ye dhruvam. A person who seriously engages in service of the Lord and is in the renounced order of life is a sadhu. A sadhu is one who has given up all responsibilities of to society, family, and worldly humanitarianism simply for the service of the Lord. He does connection, he does service to all these people, but for the pleasure of Lord. He may take the response, his connection inside is cut, but he feels that sense of responsibility simply for the service of. As soon as he takes his birth in the world, a person has so many responsibilities, obligations to the public, to the demigods, to the sages, to the general living beings, and his parents, to family, forefathers. When he gives up all such obligations for the sake of service of Supreme Personal, he is not punished for such renunciation of obligations. But if for sense gratification a person renounces all such obligations, he is punished with the laws of nature. Very nice. I wanted to really speak on this for 1 hour, but we don't have time. So I will leave you for today. We will discuss it tomorrow. They are very nice. Maybe in future again these points are repeated, then we can discuss more. Thank you all very much. We'll continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Hare Krishna.